The varroa mite recently made its way to Australia, which was, until now, the only continent without them. And that's bad news for beekeepers because the mites cause costly damage to the industry and transmit lots of bee diseases. To encourage people to report wild hives that can transmit varroa, I was commissioned to make this animation about the life cycle of varroa. This time I started with a storyboard. My prototype puppet didn't please me, so I prettied it up in subsequent passes until I was properly impressed. I did love the clear wings though, but the veins fell off despite my best glue, so I laminated them in place. Let's start with this scene. I decided to animate it in clay, and I kept the onion skin on it first so I could see where my larva should be and where the segments should go as I'm making it bigger. I add a layer of clay and resculpt the larva between every frame, keeping the details through the clay layer, especially those little dots and ridges. I use mostly my hands and a needle tool for this. Now, using the dots and the segments, I can line up the sculpt nicely and offset them for the amount of movement I'm going for. This scene was a morph instead of an addition, and it was really fun. I didn't notice how dusty the sculpt was until after, and next time I claymate, I'll try more things to reduce the dust on the clay, like using harder clay, running an air filter, wearing color-matched clothing, and cleaning the desk and tools with tape, among other things. I hope to have more luck controlling dust in my next studio. I also animated this scene backwards and shot a frame with and without the bee as I was breaking down the cover. Like the bungled beginner bee, I didn't find the first flower phenomenal, so I further finessed it until I was finally feeling satisfied. Because my bee wings are clear, I wanted to animate them in the scene for best effect. So for the flower landing scene, I wanted to have texture in my flowers here, and have them underneath protective glass. But if my glass is on top, normally everything is squished flat, so here's what I did to fix that. Here's my glass frame. I used little spacers of wood placed under the edge of the frame to hold it up and give this still enough space between to show my texture. I animated this scene two ways, with and without the mite. I changed my mind for the intro, and I want a lot of bees on a hive, but I don't want to make and animate a bunch of tiny puppets. So I'm gonna use a green screen. This is gonna be my blue for the next scene, which is just the bee buzzing. But to keep the clear wings from showing blue, I eventually back them with white paper. Put my wings in the right positions. Since I'm animating the puppets separately, I can also make a parallax effect in the background, giving it the illusion of depth. I have 4 elements. Let's see how they look together. And a trunk. I've got like a tree. I'm gonna like put these together afterwards. I'm gonna do each individually and then reassemble them. So let's go. An invader in the beehive sneaks into a cell occupied by a bee's egg. The varroa mite hides while the egg hatches and the larva grows. When the bee larva is ready, a worker seals the cell. In the dark, the bee pupates and the mite takes her chance. She climbs up the pupa to feed and lays her eggs. Her son hatches first and her children mate. Her daughters also feed, hitching a ride to eventually infect other cells or other hives. If you like this video and subscribe if you want more. Just don't forget the bell button. Links to Patreon in the description. Thanks so much and have a great day. Hope to see you next time.